Guys, before we start the show, I got to tell you, I'm a little scared.
Okay.
Very scared, in fact. We are coming off of a mega football weekend, and this show could go way off the rails. We've got high school football that we all went to. We've got college football that everybody watched on Saturday. We had NFL football that well, not the Browns. They're not really in the NFL. But we had a lot of NFL football yesterday, and I'm really afraid that if you guys don't help me, this show's going off the rails, and it's going to become a sports podcast.
I'm tired of talking about football, so I'll be brief today.
You're a Browns fan, so you know.
Well, I'm also a person that watched 3 high school football games and college football on Saturday, and then the NFL. I did.
So I'm going to need your help because I'm going to.
Don't look at me for help.
Well, that would be a first when I actually do look for you for help, Hayden. But that would be. I'm going to need your help today, so let's keep it on the rails.
Right.
We're going to talk some football today, folks, but bear with us. We'll get beyond it. So are we ready to start the show?
We're ready.
Sure.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Well, greetings and salutations, and welcome once again to the Newsman Weekly Podcast, episode number 77, lucky number 77, and God knows we could use a little luck around here. Let me say good morning to Zach Heiser, the show's executive producer, and Hayden Gray, our official videographer, for at least one more week. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to a new, fresh week of hell.
Good morning, Carl.
Speaking of hell.
Yeah.
How the hell was your weekend? I'm exhausted.
Yeah, it hasn't been enough time since we've been apart.
I was gonna say,
we didn't get
it all together.
our full 48 hours apart.
I haven't seen you guys since Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. So
we're all still getting along, which is crazy.
Right.
This is like the least grumpy I've been on a Monday morning, which is shocking.
Well, yeah, because you spent a great weekend in Canton. Just to remind folks who didn't pay attention to anything over the weekend, we were half of the 6-member source team that went to Canton Friday and Saturday to cover high school football state championship games. We covered Shelby.
The better half.
Yeah, the better half, yeah. The half that's here right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we covered Shelby on Friday morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
We covered Olentangy Orange for the new Delaware source on Friday night.
So much fun.
Yeah,
we're
all here for the O. And then we covered Hillsdale bright and early Saturday morning, though you guys were bleary-eyed. I will be happy to say you looked bleary-eyed on Saturday morning.
Because you bailed on us on Friday night.
That's because I'm responsible.
Yeah, he bailed, and then he ate breakfast without us on Saturday morning.
That's because I knew you guys were not getting up for breakfast. No. I knew when we got to the Red Roof Inn in Belden Village, and quite the hotel the Red Roof Inn in Belden Village is, I was stunned that there's still hotels out there that don't have in-room coffee.
But they do have exterior corridors.
Yes, they do. And I walked across when I was talking to, I think her name was Bertha. I don't remember what her name was.
I call her Bertha.
As she chain smoked her 55th cigarette right before we walked in the door, and she looked at me and she goes, "All right, your room 243 is back. It's over there in the back building. Just walk over there, you'll find it." And that's exactly how I did it. I walked across a dark parking lot because this hotel did have exterior hallways, and that means it has no interior hallways. And it also had no vending machines, even though it said vending machines.
There was
in
a
the
sign,
amenities. Yeah, there was nothing there.
They had TVs in the room.
But they don't work, so I didn't care about that. But I'm literally scared I don't get scared often, all right? But I'm walking across a parking lot, kind of peering in the darkness because Bertha said, "You're in the back building, just go over there. It'll be a 243.
I didn't think you were that far away.
Yeah, so Hayden and I roomed together. Carl had his own room. Kurt Conrad, veteran sports reporter, had his own room. And our managing editor, Larry Phillips, had his own room. Brittany Schock bailed. She discovered that she had a cousin.
Alleged.
Alleged cousin in Canton.
Excuse me, guys.
My cousin, the Marriott.
Yeah, my cousin. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
she
Mary,
bailed.
first name, last name, Ott.
So it was just me and Hayden, and the TV was a little. You had to press a couple buttons, and we were like, "Those guys are not going to be able to work the TV."
We watched Sports Center 5 times through, I think.
Yeah, that's exciting. I turned it on. It said HDM1. I said, "No, I'm done with that." Turned it off. Went to bed because I knew there was a Bob Evans nearby, and I wanted that big breakfast on Saturday morning.
You got it.
You got it.
I sent you guys a picture. That was the big breakfast.
It was a nice looking breakfast.
Yeah, it really was. So we all got our fill of high school football on Friday and Saturday.
We did. My big takeaway from the weekends: Glenville is not a D4 team. Obviously, kudos to Hillsdale and Shelby. Great seasons, fun. I love going to Canton. The
Great
facilities
vibes.
are awesome. The vibes are great. Man, that Glenville team, though, is not really a team you see in D4.
Well, it's because they've controlled the enrollment.
I
over
know,
the
and I
years.
think the OHSAA has got to do something about that. I don't have any hard feelings towards the kids and being excited and talking trash and stuff. That's what 17 and 18-year-old boys do. But
this was a school that several years ago was playing in the D1 state championship game.
right.
So, I mean, this is...
Right. They had their defensive tackle and their linebacker going to play at Ohio State. And it's not no disrespect to like Bod Penn Miller or anything, but they're going to play at Ohio State.
Well, I think Bod Penn will, too. It just wasn't this year. This was a redshirt year. But
No,
I will
that's
say
fair.
this, 7 state championship games, 7 not fun games
No.
to necessarily watch. The average
Right. That's disappointing.
average margin of victory was 28.5 points per game, which was the largest, most one-sided weekend since at least 2013 when the OHSA went to 7 divisions. So, yeah, it was...
It's damn near a running clock.
well, there were
average.
5 of these 7 games had a running clock. So, yeah, it was not great football from a just purely want to sit and watch a good football. So we all raced home on Saturday.
Well, hold on.
sorry.
I
Some
want
of
to
us
say one
left
more thing.
first.
I want to say one more
Oh.
thing about the Shelby. I got to shout out the Shelby
Get it out,
fans.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
got to
man.
shout out the Shelby fans.
Attendance, right?
Second
Attendance was
highest of the
awesome.
weekend.
I mean, we were there for the D1 game Friday night, which are 2 huge schools.
Only 24 people difference between those two, by the
Right.
way, in total attendance.
Shelby side, the orange side was on the same side as Shelby, the away side, and they're, a bigger student section and stuff. The bigger school, obviously a huge band, like a whole cheer team. These D1 schools have like people like colleges. They're like a cheer squad down
Right.
on the field with the cheerleaders.
cheerleaders,
The
yeah.
band has their own cheerleaders,
Of course
right?
they do, because they're the band.
Right. But Shelby, for being little Shelby, I think the whole town was there.
Yeah,
on
on
the
a
whole
hard
side
game
was
slot,
was
10:30
filled
a.m.
on 10:30 a.m. on a Friday. So, man, it was great to see all that community support.
Yeah, the Shelby Glenville game had a official attendance of 6,011, which was second only to that Division I game, which was 6,035.
Wow.
So 24
Wow.
people different.
So congratulations to Shelby, because they had a lot more folks there than
They did.
anybody from Glenville.
Any team that I saw on that, that I thought Shelby had the most fans from their community there of any team.
And the lowest attendance of the weekend was the D6 game between Kirtland and Hopewell Loudon.
Now, did you go home and watch that on Spectrum?
I did not. I will tell you, my first job out of college was in Fostoria, which is about 5 miles away from Bascom. So I was thrilled to see Hopewell Loudon be in that game, but they weren't really in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Kirtland spanked them badly. And then there was Hillsdale St. Henry, which was 3,912. And the Midwest Athletic Conference claimed its 569,424 state football titles. So then everybody raced home, right?
And
To
we
watch
raced home.
Ohio State Saturday night in a game that meant absolutely nothing.
Well,
Yep.
some of us were still in Canton, Carl, to see the warm-ups for that
I'm sorry to hear
Kirtland
this.
Hopewell
I'm
game,
sorry to
because
hear
we don't
that.
all just bail without saying goodbye.
Well, I was doing a
Oh,
live
okay, here we
blog.
go.
I was doing
I
a
knew
live
it.
blog during the games.
Yeah.
So when the game
Not even
ended,
a goodbye.
when the game, you weren't up there yet, but I was,
Just
Heiser.
grinding away.
But I was still finishing the live blog as the clock is winding down, and Heiser's standing behind me, clearing his throat. You ready to go? Yeah, you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go?
Now, tell us when you came back up to the booth, tell us how mad you were that Carl and I had left.
I wasn't mad. I knew I'd be able to actually focus and get my work done.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And then that would be a shock. Hayden focused.
I got it done before I got in the car to come home, so it was a good
Yeah.
feeling.
All right. So then everybody raced home to watch a football
Yeah,
game on
took
Saturday
a
night.
shower because did not get
Oh,
to
yeah.
shower at the Red Roof Inn.
Yep, that was first on the list.
That
I
explains.
didn't do it either.
That is, I also didn't give Red Roof Inn a high rating on their shower head. I'll just throw that.
Oh,
out.
you
Okay.
ventured into it.
Yeah, guys, I shower. Hygiene's important.
I love showering. I wasn't going to do it there.
We didn't have time.
Wow, it's
That
good.
too. I
Yeah.
mean, we didn't give ourselves.
It would have,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. So Ohio State,
Ohio State.
Indiana, and
Congrats to the Hoosiers.
Yeah,
It meant
woohoo.
something to them,
Yeah.
I think.
and it certainly
Yeah,
meant
we
And it
like
something.
should,
referee
because they haven't
zigzag.
had a relevant season since like Hitler was.
Yeah. So now they can be Big Ten champions and lose during the college football playoff. I think honestly that was the best thing that could happen for Ohio State, because now they're humbled. Now they're humbled. There's no
that
more,
might be the
Get
new
it.
wave.
Yeah.
I mean, last
But,
year taught us anything. We don't care about Big Ten titles anymore, man. We just need
Yeah.
to. This year, last year, we didn't even beat Michigan, and this year we beat Michigan and rolling into the playoffs.
Indiana's good though. I was impressed with their team. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're better than Indiana than Bama and Oklahoma, who would play them in there.
But now Ryan Day knows you can't count on a kicker.
Oh my, so much.
That was an extra point field goal.
It was.
And Jay Fielding hooked that so far left, it looked like any drive of mine off a golf course tee.
Yep.
So
You
much.
couldn't miss hit that more if you tried.
It was awful.
So much PTSD from New Year's Eve against
Yeah.
Georgia. Different kickers. Some people
Well,
thought it was the same. No,
but that
it wasn't.
that was a far longer.
I don't
kick
even care though.
against
I don't-
Georgia.
Right. So
This was
arguably, this
This
is
was a
worse.
high school extra point.
Right. I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
how it made me feel.
Glenville could kick this kick, and they don't have a kicker.
Well, that's what I heard, but they looked good on Friday morning kicking. Anyway, I
right.
told Zach it took half a second to turn the game off after that, knowing, right, you're going to wake up on Sunday.
Didn't
I-
mean anything. Ohio
didn't mean
State still got
anything.
the number
Yep.
2 seed. Would have been no different.
And their odds got longer to win a national championship. So the first thing I did was place a bet on Ohio State to win the national championship.
Okay, well that's good. That's
That's
the
a
first
good
thing
move
you
to do it
yeah.
after they lose.
So we wake up on Sunday. We watch the college football selection. I hear
Didn't watch that.
I hear Larry
I watched
Phillips'
dinosaur
head
thing.
explode
Uh-huh.
from a mile away.
Of course.
That when Alabama
Yeah,
got in
of course.
to the playoff with 3 losses after getting boat raced on Saturday by Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's just very upset about that.
He was. He
Hates
takes it.
ESPN, hates the SEC.
He does. So we get done with that, and then NFL starts. The Browns immediately look bad near the end against the second worst team in the National Football League, the Tennessee Titans.
Fire Stefanski.
Yeah, it's
Thank
some
you.
terrible decision making at the end.
Glad you're finally
getting
coming
that,
around,
I wouldn't
Zach.
mind getting that Indiana quarterback in the draft.
Well, you know what? I think we've already established that the Browns will draft somebody from that game, but it's going to be Ohio State's kicker. I think that I did see that on
They
social
always
media.
see
after
what
the
no
game.
one else sees.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, they see Jay Fielding hooking a 22-yard field goal 15 yards to the left. But, yeah, so the Browns are terrible. We all know that.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders
Young
plays
team.
great.
Yeah, man.
He leads you to 2 touchdowns.
Legacy
Saw some
drive.
improvement.
Yeah, so what do you do if you're Kevin Stefanski after that last touchdown?
Yeah. Hey,
take
son.
him off,
Yeah.
take him off the field.
Hey, son, go sit on the bench.
Yeah, we're going to go Wildcat, and we're going to take our number 1 offensive player off the field. Hayden didn't get to watch the Steelers,
Not
but
on
he was
TV.
excited about them.
Yeah.
I think you said something about Aaron Rodgers earlier
Yeah.
before we started the show.
I said it was nice to see vintage Aaron Rodgers bringing out the discount double check again.
Discount double check. There he goes. Got the title belt. Knocked off the Baltimore Ravens. Now back in first place. So a week ago it was fire the coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fire Aaron Rodgers.
I never
And
said
now,
fire Aaron Rodgers.
oh, you were.
I've been cautious about him since the beginning. Yes, I did. During midweek after we filmed the podcast last week, I was kind of full-fledged fire Tomlin. I'm not gonna backtrack too much from it because I don't know how much of yesterday I credit to him, but there was a certain level of peace of listening to the game and watching the Gamecast on my computer.
Yeah.
It kind of made me feel closer to you, Carl. I was trying to imagine this must have been how you listened to most of the games before TV was around, and
Wow.
made me feel close.
Actually, the whole key was you could watch the NFL films. Would put out one game every week, the NFL game of the week. Other than that, you just read the newspaper to see how your team did.
Yeah. I know you had some gripes about your game, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not, but we've been talking way too much football already. So I'll just say this. Brian Johnson, head coach of the Bears, who used to coach the Detroit Lions as an offensive
Johnson.
Ben Johnson, sorry. Ben Johnson, I really hate the
I
guy.
think Brian Johnson's the guy from ACDC, maybe?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Ben Johnson gets the gig in Chicago to be their new head coach in the offseason. And the first thing he says during the press conference is, I kind of like beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
He forgot he switched teams.
Yeah, guess what, pal? You didn't beat him. And it was the quickest head coach handshake after a game you'll ever want to see. LaFleur wasn't having it. shook his hand, patted him on the back, and was gone.
Love to see it, and we haven't had a meaningful Bears-Packers rivalry in
It's been a while.
Since
It's
leather helmets.
It's about 10 years ago, like 2013.
Brian Urlacher.
Jay
Cutler, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, when Aaron Rodgers
So it's good to see. That's a fun
hit
rivalry.
Randall Cobb on a huge pass to help set up the NFC champion. They played in the NFC championship.
I'd love to see a
game.
rematch in the playoffs.
Well, you're going to see a rematch in 2 weeks.
Oh, well.
Because they play each
still in the
other
regular
again
season.
in Chicago. All right, enough football, folks.
Yeah. Well,
We could not-
I won't talk about my fantasy team and how you guys are just not going to make.
I
the
don't care about
playoffs,
it. You know
but,
what? I don't care about that. Folks, you know what? My fantasy team has reached a point that I said, you know what? I don't care.
I'll admit I didn't even set my lineup.
I picked up Cade Stover when he came back off IR. I put him right in my lineup. I don't care.
He got like 4.5 points for you.
Guys, we can't turn this into a.
All right,
can't,
folks.
I did it, but I mean, this is when people turn it off.
All right, let's start the show again. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Folks, we couldn't do one Newsman Weekly show, much less 77, without all of you. So thanks again to all of you for joining us today for your weekly dose of sports, news, information, and just downright stupid foolishness that we hope is at least a little entertaining. We're grateful and quite frankly shocked. So many of you join us every week, an audience growing by leaps and bounds and bounds and leaps each and every week. Let's face it, there are millions of podcasts being created around the country every week, and we are one of them. We know we couldn't do this show without your support. We're eternally grateful to everybody, more than you'll ever know. The more time I get to spend talking each week is the less I have to spend typing. Talking is easier than typing and writing. Many thanks to local country singer Luke Watson for creating this show's theme song, Smoke and Drink, which apparently Bertha, the woman at Red Roof Inn, certainly enjoys that song, Smoke and Drink. Our thanks also
Big
to
Luke Watson fan.
you guys using that back road back there. You just got back building. It's 243.
She was very nice.
You have a driver's license and 6 other forms of ID because that's what we require here at the Red Roof Inn North.
Hey, it took us like 30 minutes after you went to your room to get checked.
Great accommodations.
That's because I was there 20 minutes before you guys got there. I need to see 17 more forms.
She wouldn't tell us your room number.
Yeah, and I told her not to.
She held true.
Yeah. Our thanks also to the great folks at Relax It's Just Coffee for sponsoring this show and being such a great partner to the Newsman Weekly. I'm stunned that they keep being a sponsor after we stumble through this.
Don't speak too soon.
Yeah, that's true. Every day just starts better with great coffee, and our friend Paul Kimmerling and his baristas at Relax simply have the best in town at 105 North Main Street in downtown Mansfield. Not only do they pay for this show, but Paul puts up a great post about the show every week on Facebook. Paul, we read them. We enjoy them.
It's better than what we do.
There's the stuff you write is far better than anything we do.
And the Relax has a Christmas menu now.
Oh, God. Okay.
Peppermint lattes. And I saw you sneak in some like caramel syrup and some creamer and sugar in the coffee back there. You get it black in public, and then you come back to your little corner.
Or it might have been just half and half. But, whatever your little fantasy
getting
is
soft.
about what I put in my
getting
coffee,
soft, Carl.
you just entertain yourself with that. Thanks for filling in while I drank coffee. I can always count on you two guys to actively.
I wanted people to hear the sip.
ASMR.
To actively fight my ability to do a worthwhile show. Hey, folks, it's going to be a great show. In a few minutes, we'll be joined by Kelsey Cunning, the woman who led the charge this year to return the right of Mansfield residents to again have backyard chickens. She was in council chambers last week when lawmakers approved it 4-3. And she will join us today to talk about all of it, so stay tuned for that. Before we go further, it is the holiday season. How do I know that? My wife put up our Christmas tree by herself and then decorated it by herself. By the way, it looks great, Marcy.
Good job, Marcy.
Congratulations on
shout
that.
out.
Sorry you had to do it by yourself.
Yeah, but how else do I know it's the Christmas season? It's December 8th, and I'm already one candy cane away from snapping in half, like one of those peppermint sticks from the new Grandpa Joe's candy store over on 3rd Street. When I knew Christmas music had already gotten out of control? When I walked into the office 3 weeks ago when I heard Larry Phillips, the human embodiment of a Hallmark movie, blasting Christmas music on the Richland Source Sono system at 7:58 a.m. Not even 8. The workday hadn't even started, but Larry had Feliz Navidad cranked up like he's personally trying to summon Santa. And the worst part, all my coworkers, including you guys, just go along with it. You're over there bobbing your heads, typing away like it's totally normal to listen to Jingle Bell Rock on repeat before the coffee's even finished brewing. Meanwhile, I'm hiding behind my monitor hoping for a power outage. I mean, it never stops. We'll be in the middle of a meeting discussing something serious, budgets, deadlines, or the fact that we're out of printer paper again, and suddenly Sonos kicks into some 27-minute version of "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." Everybody just keeps talking like we're not being slowly waterboarded by sleigh bells. I tried to escape. I put on my own headphones. I turned up my Molly Hatchet music, and somehow I still hear Larry's playlist bleeding through like the world's most festive haunting. At one point, I wasn't sure if the speakers were too loud or if Christmas music had simply broken my soul. And don't even get me started on the songs themselves. Every singer on earth has recorded their version of every tune. We got Mariah Carey, we got Michael Bublé, and 15 country artists with names like Dusty Saddle and Whiskey Trent, all fighting for airtime, and Larry plays them all. It's like a battle royale of holiday cheer. Oh, and don't think I can forget Taylor Henninger from the Ashland Source. This kid thinks she can walk in the office with a cup of hot cocoa, sing a little jingle, and get me into the holiday spirit. I told her, I've been in this business long enough to know that holiday spirit is code for I'm going to make you sing along and you'll regret it. Every time I'm trying to type, she pops up like a Christmas pop-up card, all bright-eyed and holiday cheer. Carl, come on. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
That's right, Carl.
No, Taylor, it's December 8th. I'm already murderously tired of Christmas music. My spirit isn't holiday, it's survival mode. But does she care? No, she just keeps cheering, waving fake snow globes, and humming tunes that I'm pretty sure were designed to torture grumpy old men. If she thinks she's getting me to dance or sing along, she got another thing coming. I'm hiding behind my desk, clutching my coffee like it's a shield, praying that anyone will turn off the Sonos and send this Christmas carnage back to the North Pole where it belongs. Oh, and reporter Hannah Martin. She's so quiet that sometimes you forget she's in the newsroom. Until suddenly, without warning, bam, the Sonos erupts with another Jingle Bell Rock at full volume. Nobody can figure out who did it, but there she is at her desk, typing softly like a church mouse, eyes innocent, earbuds in, pretending she didn't just hijack the speaker system like some kind of festive ninja. It's always the quiet ones who wage the sneakiest Christmas music warfare. But the truly shameful moment last week when I caught myself humming along. Yeah, me, the guy who hates this shit. Rocking around the Christmas tree came on for the 8th time, and the next thing I know, my foot is tapping like I've been taken hostage by a holiday rhythm. So here I am, a grumpy old man trapped in an office where the Sonos system has declared Christmas martial law. 3 more weeks of this. 3 more weeks of chestnuts roasting, bells jingling, and Larry smiling like Buddy the Elf because, quote, this one's my favorite. Wake me up December 26th when the Sonos goes silent and I can finally hear myself think again. Until then, I'll be in my corner listening to Leonard Skinner on YouTube, pretending it's July.
So what I'm hearing is you want to do a Christmas countdown to Christmas TikTok series with Taylor.
That's what you took from all that?
I think we're going to have to make you
can
after
tell,
all of that.
You can tell you went to Lexington High School.
You're trying to break this
because you're just dense
Christmas
between
spirit,
your ears.
A Grinch. You're trying to. These kids are just. They still probably believe in Santa. They're so young.
They probably do. And you know what? I don't want to. If we have kids listening, I do too.
I do too.
Yeah. So there you go. Too. Yeah. So all your kids that are listening, ho ho ho. Okay,
yeah.
So
well, maybe we get some a metal Christmas playlist for you.
How about we get a metal detector?
Death metal Christmas.
Yeah, death metal Christmas. Maybe that's what
you could vibe with that.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do next week when we do our holiday edition of the.
Yeah, we should all dress festive, Carl.
Yeah, I'll dress festive.
We have our Secret Santa coming out.
God bless whoever you have to buy a gift for.
Thanks for reminding me.
It's next Monday.
Is it next Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I haven't purchased anything yet. That gives me a week.
I haven't either.
Me neither.
I usually do it Sunday night.
All right. Moving on. We launched a new segment a few weeks ago. We're going to try it again. It's called Simply, What's Carl Watching?
Well, it's not Christmas movies, but what is Carl watching?
Oh, we did it the same time.
What is Carl watching? Well, this week it was The Abandons, a new 7-part series on Netflix. Guys, now
I saw that.
I love a good Western. One of my favorite genres, the Lonesome Dove miniseries in 1989 with Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones. You guys ever see that?
No.
Hayden, it works better if you actually speak. Nobody out there.
Everybody knows I haven't seen it. No.
When you shake your head, people in the audience
I forget.
can't hear your head rattle. All
people
those
know
rocks.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, Lonesome Dove was one of the best things ever done on network television. The HBO series Deadwood 20 years ago will forever stand the test of time. Did you guys watch Deadwood?
No.
All right, guys. Well, The Abandons ain't anything close to any of that. Your heads are still rattling with rocks. I love the fact it's got Gillian Anderson and Lena Headey as opposite leads. I love the fact it was created by Kurt Sutter, who gave us the brilliant series Sons of Anarchy. I know, Heiser, you probably watched that.
My wife was real into it, but I never did get into the
Hayden, you
the
watched Sons of
motorcycle
Anarchy?
gang.
No.
Okay, good. Yeah. You guys are like eight years old. This series misses every mark. In fact, I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about it other than to say somebody at Netflix said, hey, Westerns are popular. Let's do one. So they took a formulaic plot, added stilted dialogue, and tried to convince me it was something special. It's not. It made me wish for the days of Al Swearingen in the old Jim Saloon in Deadwood. After I watched it, in fact, guys, I needed a palate cleanser. So I sat down and put together my own list of the top 5 Western movies of all time. It's my list, so it can't be wrong.
Love a good list.
Yeah, if you need a Western, pick one of these. Please pick any of these over The Abandons. Let's start. I've got 5. I've got some OLI, outside looking in. Great films, but not great enough. Here's my OLI. Shane, starring Alan Ladd, released in 1953. Oh, by the way, these have to be movies that I've seen. And when I ask you guys for yours, it's got to be something you've seen. Don't try some hokey stuff.
These are honorable mention.
Yeah, these are outside looking in. Couldn't make the top 5.
Okay.
The Wild Bunch with William Holden and Ernest Borgnine in 1969.
Never heard of it.
The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance with Jimmy Stewart and John Wayne, 1962.
Nope. Was that in color or black?
I've heard of John Wayne. Is that?
The Searchers with John Wayne, Jeffrey Hunter, and Natalie Wood in 1956. Oof. This is a little closer for you guys. Jeremiah Johnson with Robert Redford in 1972. Okay. Any thoughts on any of those OLI?
I've heard of Robert Redford.
Okay, good. I'm glad you could participate.
Fugitive. I saw that movie.
Add something to this list. All right, guys. Here it is. The top 5 Western movies of all time. My opinion. Again, it's my list. It can't be wrong. You can have your own. Regardless, here we go. Number 5. The Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman, and Gene Hackman in 1992.
That one I know. It was as a Oscar nominee, right?
It certainly was.
For Best Picture.
When prostitute Delilah...
Maybe it won, even.
Really? I don't remember.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Thank you. Look that up while I'm telling you about it. When prostitute Delilah Fitzgerald is disfigured by a pair of cowboys in Big Whiskey, Wyoming, her fellow brothel workers post a reward for their murder, much to the displeasure of Sheriff Little Bill Daggett, Gene Hackman, who doesn't allow vigilantism in his town. 2 groups of gunfighters, one led by aging former bandit William Money, a.k.a. Clint Eastwood, the other by the florid English Bob, Richard Harris, come to collect the reward, clashing with each other and the sheriff. So, The Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, which Clint Eastwood's finest moment is in this movie, guys. You got to watch it.
What do you find there?
Well, I was trying to look up the nominees, but it's like you can't even look anything up on the internet anymore.
You can't trust the internet.
A Few Good Men, Unforgiven. This is 93 because it came out in 92,
right.
But which one won?
Well, while you keep looking for that, while you keep doing that, I'm just going to plow forward with the list. Number 4, best all-time westerns.
1933. No, not 1933.
Rio Bravo.
Dog, Carl.
Rio Bravo.
Oh, it was Unforgiven. It was directed by and starring Clint Eastwood.
Yep. It's one of the. It is number 5 on the list of all-time great westerns.
Yeah.
Number 4, Rio Bravo with John Wayne, Claude Akins, and Dean Martin in 1959. When gunslinger Joe Burdette, a.k.a. Claude Akins, kills a man in a saloon, Sheriff John T. Chance, John Wayne, arrests him with the aid of the town drunk, Dude, played by Dean Martin. Before long, Burdette's brother Nathan John Russell comes around, indicating he's going to bust his brother out of jail if necessary. Chance decides to make a stand until reinforcements arrive, enlisting Dude, an old cripple named Stumpy, Walter Brennan, and babyface cowboy Colorado Ryan and Ricky Nelson to help. And yes, you could call
it. Can you say cripple anymore?
Well, you certainly could in 1959 when that movie was made.
All right, good.
All right, number 3, High Noon in 1952.
Oh, it's a good drink.
With Gary Cooper and Grace Kelly. Former Marshal Will Kane, played by Gary Cooper, is preparing to leave the small town of Hadleyville, New Mexico with his bride, Amy, Grace Kelly, when he learns that local criminal Frank Miller has been set free and is coming to seek revenge on the marshal who turned him in. When he starts recruiting deputies to fight Miller, Kane is discouraged. The people of Hadleyville have turned cowardly when the time comes for a showdown, and he has to face Miller and his cronies alone.
High noon reminds me of summer, being on the boat, drinking a nice high noon.
Reminds me of Gary Cooper summoning up the intestinal fortitude to take them all on. All right, that was number 3. Number 2, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, with Humphrey Bogart, Tim Holt, and Walter Houston in 1948. I know you guys didn't see this one.
Is it a musical?
In this classic adventure film, 2 rough and tumble wanderers, Dobbs, played by Humphrey Bogart, and Curtin, Tim Holt, meet up with a veteran prospector, Howard, played by Walter Houston, in Mexico, and they head into the Sierra Madre Mountains to find gold. Although they find treasure, they also find plenty of trouble, not only from ruthless bandits lurking in the Mexican wilderness, but from their own insecurities and greed, which threaten to bring conflict at any moment.
That's deep.
That's number 2. And guys, the number 1 all-time Western, are you ready?
I'm ready.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, with Clint Eastwood and Eli Wallach in 1967. In the Southwest during the Civil War, a mysterious stranger, Joe, played by Clint Eastwood, and a Mexican outlaw, Tuco, played by Eli Wallach, form an uneasy partnership. First of all, you have to believe that Eli Wallach could play a Mexican outlaw. Joe turns in the bandit for the reward money and then rescue him just as he's being hanged. When Joe's shot at the noose goes awry during one escapade, a furious Tuco tries to have him murdered. The 2 men re-team abruptly to beat out a sadistic criminal and the Union Army and find $20,000 that a soldier has buried in the desert. It is without a doubt, the greatest Western of all time. It's a spaghetti Western, and it's got Clint Eastwood.
I'll have to watch that one. I've seen Unforgiven. I'm not worried about those middle 3 that were like black and white films. But The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, I've heard of that for sure, and I should probably see that movie. Hayden, have you seen any of these? Not a single one, huh?
You just tarnished any rapport that I still had left with Carl.
Well,
anything. No. I watched a single one, Carl.
You know, while you guys tell me what your favorite Westerns are, I'm going to play something in the background, so just give me
Don't get us booted off for copyright.
We might.
Okay.
Oh, that's an ad. We don't want that.
This is on off. Go
talk amongst yourself.
Zach.
Talk amongst yourself.
Favorite Western. What are you
had some ideas.
Defined as a Western? Oh, I do have one, and this one won Best Picture. Dances with Wolves, great movie. Okay. Kevin Costner. You haven't seen that one either.
I've heard some of the actors' names.
Hear this?
Yeah. Oh, we're definitely.
Make sure it's only like 15 seconds.
Podcast.
Make sure it's only like 15 seconds.
Oh yeah,
that was right at.
I could have just done
that. Was right at 15 seconds. That's the theme from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Everybody knows that.
Is No Country for Old Men considered a Western?
It's not really a Western, but if you'd like to call it that, you can.
Well, I just looked it up, and it says genre Western. So.
All right. Well, it's a great movie.
Brokeback Mountain.
That's up to you.
It's
if that's your favorite Western, that's fine.
I think that was up for Best Picture as well.
All right.
How about Django Unchained?
That was a Western.
Okay, good. How is a Western defined? Like, because I know it's like.
Well, first of all, it's got to be in the West,
right?
It can't be made in New York City.
West of the Mississippi.
West of the Mississippi. Yeah. From my standpoint, it's got to be like in the 1800s. 1850 to 1880 type stuff. That's a good Western. So it's got to have horses. It's got to have cowboys.
Wait.
It's got to have guns. It's got to have killings.
Right.
So usually should involve some sort of small town.
What was that show about the Mormon militia that came out? That was a good one.
That was a Western.
Yeah.
I forget what we've talked about.
We have.
I don't remember what it was called. If Hayden had his friggin' laptop, he could look that up while you and I talked.
Toy Story doesn't count. I think the lead is a cowboy and he has a horse.
Wow! Wow! That you are so back-assward.
Oh, American.
I'm sorry. There's usually a heavy rotation of cars on mine. I don't have a lot of time to watch your Western movies, Carl.
What was it, Zach?
American Primeval.
Yeah, that was a good Western.
There you go.
Yeah, didn't make my list, but it was a good one. What about you, Hayden? Give me any Western that you've watched that you liked. Wow,
That's it?
This
Have
is
you
painful.
seen The Hateful Eight? No.
Great
We might be here
cinematography.
for a long
Great
time. This is how we're
cinematography in
gonna do
Hateful
it.
Eight.
True Grit, the
True-
remake.
Heard
The
of it.
original. Give me the
Heard of
original.
it.
Give me the original with John Wayne.
310 to Yuma.
That's a good one.
I don't think I ever watched that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I just looked up like Western movies that my coworker Hayden, who's 25, may have seen, and the Revenant with Leo.
Good movie.
You didn't see that one? Jeez,
I've heard of it.
Have you ever heard of a movie?
Yeah.
I've heard of all of these.
Other than Cars.
Well, not really lately, but
Now here's the thing.
Frozen 2.
I
That's a Western.
I know that you're trying to blame the fact that you have a child who wants to watch films that have cars in them, and I get that. But how old is he now? He's 2.
2.
So you had 23 years to watch a Western on your
Just
own.
not into it, man.
Oh, that's sad.
See, I'm trying to save you from all the disappointment.
Well, it's too late. I'm completely disappointed. I've never been more disappointed in you, and I don't know that I ever will be more disappointed.
I knew that was coming. That's why.
Actually, I mean, it's only early on Monday.
It is.
I'll be more disappointed with you before this day's over. So.
There's plenty of time for you to find YouTube clips of these and show them to me.
Call into the hotline and
Yeah,
tell
call
us
in.
your favorite Western.
You know, we got to figure that out. There's a couple things we got to do, and going into 2026.
All
One
right,
is
yeah, set the goals.
we got to record this show live at Relax.
Huge risk, but I'm down.
Okay.
We have to do that. Another thing is we got to figure out some way to take listener calls.
That would be awesome.
We'll have to
Listener
figure that out.
questions too. I don't know. If
Or
you're
comments.
listening to us, just
Yeah.
tell us.
Yeah.
What
No,
you
I'm
want.
not. I want some calls. I want this to be like an
It would
AM
be
radio,
cool.
AM radio
We could bring
sports
in
talk show.
Aaron Hines as like some
Yeah.
technical expertise.
Joe and Hialeah, you're on. Go.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
Yeah,
You just want to kick people off the air.
Yeah,
That's the fun
exactly.
yeah,
part.
you just want the power.
I want to be like Pete Franklin. You're an idiot. Click. And it
Right,
goes away.
right.
All right, folks, in a few minutes, we will welcome in Kelsey Cunning to talk backyard chickens, so stay tuned for that. But before we get to that,
Wow.
let's talk about some recent news in Mansfield and Richland County, because it is still the Newsman Weekly. The decaying structure, once known as the West Park Shopping Center, has finally been sold to a local owner.
So we can't call it the West Park Shopping Center anymore.
Well, it still is.
Until it's gone, it is, yeah.
Mayor Jody Perry made the announcement late Friday afternoon, which we got while sitting in the press box at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium
Great
in
work,
Canton.
Carl.
She said, "I am pleased to announce a deal has been reached for a local buyer to purchase the property known as West Park Shopping Center. In accordance with the actions taken by Mansfield City Council and the Richland County Land Bank earlier this week, the property has been submitted for the current round of the Brownfield Remediation State Grant or Grant Fund through the Ohio Department of Development," the mayor said. Said she would work with the owners, 6 West 3rd Limited, to share information about the future of the property in the weeks ahead. 6 West 3rd Limited is a Mansfield corporation formed in 1997 by Bill Heichel. A sales price has not yet been disclosed. She said they purchased this to assist the city in moving forward, and my voice is really cracking, with much-needed revitalization along the famed Miracle Mile. The mayor said she was grateful for the new owner's willingness to support the community. Terms have not been disclosed, at least they weren't when I was working on this story Friday, but the property is expected to transfer by the end of the year. She said she was excited by revitalization possibilities that local ownership provides. She also appreciates the CEO of Namdar Realty Group, Dan Dilmanian, I hope I mispronounced that, for working with me over many months to get the property under local control. The mayor didn't want to say anything bad about Namdar, but you know my thoughts. I'm not going to repeat them all here. They've owned that place since 2015, and they have yet to spend any money to do anything with it other than watch it deteriorate and rot.
I was going to say they could save money on the demo cost, Carl, because I think if we gave you a sledgehammer, you'd have it down just as fast. You hate that place so much.
They've been letting it self-demolish for the last
right.
10 years.
Right,
So.
it's been caving in. Now, what do you want to see?
First
them
of all,
do with the space? Top 3. Make a list.
It's 17 acres. First thing you got to do is demolish
17
it.
acres?
17 acres. Most of it parking lot.
Runs
How is
a little
that
bit deep
many
behind
acres?
the buildings too, right?
Yeah, it runs all. It's 17 acres.
Okay.
Now that includes
I never
the
knew
strip
what an acre
mall,
was, and I don't think anyone does.
The
but-
strip mall, the smaller strip mall that's on the east side, which hasn't been condemned, but those folks, I think the city's going to help them relocate.
Okay.
Oh.
Because all that stuff's got to come down.
Right.
Yeah.
That gigantic, enormous. Are you kidding me? You ever thought you needed a parking lot so big? Has to be torn up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the whole thing's got to be reseeded, turned to grass probably, until you figure out what to do with it. I would like to see maybe affordable housing complex, apartment complex. I'd like to see retail of not the massive strip mall that was there,
Right.
but retail would be good, maybe in some conjunction with housing. Maybe I know the city's going to be looking for some place to put a pool at some point. Maybe some kind of aquatic center out there. Maybe that would be a good place to put a pool that's more centrally located within the city. I don't know. What I like is the options are unlimited to do something out there other than watch that building slowly
Right.
collapse.
Anything, you cannot go lower than this point.
Once it just becomes dirt and then
Yeah.
has grass,
It'll be better.
It's
leave it
better.
that. Leave,
Yeah.
leave it
I
like
was gonna
that.
say,
leave it like that till somebody has a great
Let
idea.
some wildflowers.
they could
bloom
throw
on
like
it.
the $300 tree on it, and it
The
would be
good
better.
news is-
I don't want them to. I'm just saying.
The good news is it's going to be in local hands by people who actually care about the city of Mansfield, which it has not been for the last 10 years under the reign of
Right.
Namdar Realty.
Correct. What about the Little Caesars and the Subway?
Those are separate buildings,
Okay.
so I think they're
Is it
okay.
on the property though? Maybe not. Maybe
not
maybe
really.
not.
I think they're their own things, but yeah.
Yeah.
So great news about that.
And with 17 acre. I mean, I think if they do demolish and flatten it, it's going to look so much bigger that it's going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know there was this much space. You could plant some trees. You could have
I think it's hard to see
Did
with
you-
all that.
It's weird to think about
on
a
it.
pool being like, oh, right by the drag racing strip of Park Ave. Like,
well, did you ever drive around behind the buildings?
yes, I
Okay,
have.
because I've done that to take
Yeah.
pictures because that's where all
Right.
the unhoused people break in. to
Right.
go
One time I
stay.
got Subway and I just drove around back. I was like, I need to find a spot to
So you thought
eat this
naturally that was
sandwich
the best
and
place
listen
to
to
go.
the radio. I
You
want to
thought-
find the
You thought
most,
parking back behind
Yeah.
West Park.
Well, I
was-
like looking
was-
at blight sometimes. Just
Just a
enjoying
little
my
blight
lunch
with my-
and-
You get a lot of
sub.
options. You get a lot of options in this town if you want to drive
well,
around.
definitely a lot of options in that 17 acre
Yeah.
lot.
All right. Anyway, West Park sold. It's great news. Big win for
Great news.
Jody Perry and the city of Mansfield.
Kudos to Jody for
Yep.
getting it done.
Getting it done because that's been on the burner for 3 years. She inherited that problem, but apparently has helped come to a resolution. Kudos also to Richland County Land Bank, which is going to apply for the $1 million
Right.
in state funds to help tear it down.
Right. Because that was part of the deal, too.
That's part of the deal.
It would have been even more difficult, if not impossible, to find a buyer without tear down costs being subsidized in some sort of way.
Yep. And I know, and I've said that before.
Yeah.
There's people out, you're going to use public money and you're going to, folks, get in Realityville. Get into Realityville. Namdar was never going to pay to demolish that building. They would string this out in court until the return of Jesus Christ himself in court before these people hire attorneys like Hayden Gray puts on socks. They do it every day. They're not going to pay for this. And yes, the city could have torn it down and spent years.
Right.
But here's what would have happened. You would have torn it down. You'd spend years trying to get them to pay for it. And guess what? Namdar would still own the property.
Well, and the city tearing it down would be public money as well.
Yes,
At
it
least
would.
they're applying for assistance, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's
It's not local, but it's
Yeah.
still public money. It's tax dollars.
Right.
But it's a state grant.
Yeah.
If the city tears it down and puts it on their tax bill, the city pays for it. Namdar's going to
longer.
fight to have to pay for it themselves, and they still own the bill.
Right.
They still own the property. Get them out of town. Move them along. That's the best way to go. And I'll argue about it till I'm blue in the face.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. The other big news of the week, Brandy Loveland has a new lucky number, 49. That was the number atop the Queen of Hearts card that won her $699,273 jackpot in the City Girls Weekly Drawing Thursday night. She drew the winning card after playing it since the current contest began about December 5th, 2024. Only 3 cards remained in the weekly drawing when her number was called. The drawing, which is normally right outside a City Grill on East 4th, they've moved it to the Brickyard. And Hayden, can we bang that microphone while I'm talking?
I did not know.
My goodness.
Sorry.
Again, actively defending my ability to do this show. To accommodate a huge crowd that braved frigid temperatures. And oh, by the way, people who say you can't get into downtown Mansfield because of the Main Street construction, y'all need to just shut up. There was like 5 million people, give or take a million or two.
Yeah.
But that's how big a crowd there was. And they didn't have any problem getting down there to watch.
It was packed. Go look at the story that Taylor did, and there's a picture that
Haley Tritchio took that picture
from the clubhouse balcony, probably,
right, yeah.
And it's packed. It's as packed as any Final Friday. If
it's
not
more.
I think it's more.
It's more.
It's the most people I've seen downtown.
Yeah.
Right, because there's no food trucks there.
No.
It was just shoulder to shoulder in the Brickyard, all the way back to the alley.
It was huge. Anyway, Loveland and her husband Tony bought $300 worth of tickets every week, always choosing the same number. She said, I just had a feeling, I don't know why, but I just knew 49 was it. She's going to share the winnings with her children. She also wants to visit Buckingham Palace in London and wants to pay off medical bills from a recent back surgery. Tony Loveland said his first purchase is going to be a Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
I like that.
Though in the short term, he promised friends a round of beers at a nearby bar. And I'm sure that everybody took him up on that on Thursday night. We looked at each other and said, that's our number. We've been playing it for a while. And when she called her name, I'm like, holy crap, this is it. I said he's grateful for the positive impact the drawings had on downtown Mansfield. With construction and everything that's going on, bringing this business downtown's been amazing. I'm glad all the businesses are profiting from it. Brandy is an assistant material warehouse manager at Chartered Next Generation. They've been playing this drawing since City Grill owner Melissa Lawrence launched it 5 years ago. They will take home 90% of the total pot after taxes. The remaining 10% of the ticket revenue from the past 2 weeks will fund the 2026 Queen of Hearts jackpot at the City Grill. That next part will start at around $259,000, and that first drawing will come March 1st, according to Melissa Lawrence. So congratulations to Brandy Loveland and her husband Tony and all of Mansfield for a huge big drawing Thursday night.
Yeah, we needed it. This was kind of the thing that, like, I know construction's like still going on. It's clear, but you needed something kind of unique that was beyond. You got scheduled events, Christmas in the City, Final Fridays, all that kind of stuff. And this is like an extra thing that I think it'd be interesting to talk to Paul and some other business owners and see if, I'm sure there was a business.
There's
I'm sure there was
a
boost in business downtown.
All right. That's enough for now.
Just the tumbleweeds.
That's enough for now. Let's take a quick break.
It is kind of a ghost town in here.
It is, yeah. When we come back, we'll be joined by Kelsey Cunning, the driving force behind Backyard Chickens, coming home to roost in Mansfield. Please, please, please ignore all the crap we just put you through. Some really good stuff's coming up. Please stay with us. Well, welcome back to the Newsman Weekly. Joining us now, as promised, is Kelsey Cunning, a Mansfield woman who led the successful drive to allow Backyard Chickens inside Mansfield city limits. Good morning, Kelsey. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me so early.
Well, we like to get Hayden up early because otherwise he'll sleep in and he'll be worthless all day. So
less grumpy.
He's less grumpy, by the way. Now, Kelsey, I understand you moved to Mansfield a couple of years ago and were shocked and dismayed to find you couldn't raise chickens at your house. I think you were just under the 3-acre limit, which was the rule at the law at that time. Now, is raising backyard hens or chickens something you had done before, and why is this so important to you?
Well, I have not done it before, but I do know a lot of people who have, and I've just had good experience with them anytime I've been around them. It really changed around the time of COVID when there were shortages and we couldn't always get the things that my very small children loved. One of those being eggs.
Well, see, I think we should have had backyard toilet paper during COVID, because that's the thing I ran out of the most was TP. But please continue.
Luckily, I did not run out of that. But it turns out small children do eat a lot, and it made me aware how sensitive our food structures actually are. And it became very difficult getting the things. And I have one child who has a rare disorder which affects how he eats. So not being able to get the foods that we really depend on was definitely scary and life-changing for us.
So when you came to Mansfield, was it 2022, 2023?
So I was actually born in Mansfield.
Okay.
I graduated high school from Mansfield Senior High.
All right.
So I went to college to AU. I was close by. I was just in Ashland. But we moved after COVID because we were considering between Columbus and Mansfield because my husband works in Columbus. And we decided on Mansfield because we needed the family support because we go to Cincinnati Children's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to stay near family, and my in-laws said they were going to sell their farmhouse, which my kids are now the 6th generation to grow up in it. So they're a very well-established Mansfield family. And we said, sure. And my father-in-law said, oh, we have 5 acres. He had forgotten that he had sold some of the acreage off over the years. So initially I was under the impression that there was more. But then I went on the auditor's site, and saw, oh, just kidding. We're just under 3. So I looked at the law, and of course, we were like around 3,000 square feet short.
Yeah, I think what I thought I read it was your farm said was 2.98
Yes.
acres.
And that's the limit for chickens.
3 is, with no exceptions.
Okay,
Right. The limit was
right.
3 before now. So you helped launch a group called Friends for Mansfield Backyard Chickens. You started a petition drive aimed at convincing the city to change the law. How did this group come together, and kind of describe for us the petition signature process?
The whole process started actually about this time last year. When I realized, hey, if I wanted to do this within the next 5 years, there would have to be a law change because I am a long-term planner. So I bugged every person in Mansfield I knew to see if they were for or not, and kind of trying to see if there was already a movement in Mansfield. I wrote a letter to the News Journal in January, and I looked at the responses, and overall they were pretty positive. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'll keep harassing people. Then in March, Mayor Perry came to my children's school, and I was there, and I asked her, hey, do you know if there's any groups in Mansfield with chickens? And she's like, no, but talk to Deb Mount. So
That's 6th Ward Council member Deb Mount.
correct. And so I contacted her, and she's like, great. She was for, and she's like, well, if we want to do this, let's start a petition. And she told me the information we needed. I added a comment section so anyone who signed could leave comments for the council people. And then I contacted other ward members, one being my personal ward, Ward 1, Councilwoman Laura Burns, and she was also pro. So I had a pretty good start from the beginning. We launched the petition mid-May, and I printed out a bunch of flyers and printed them out with a QR code to a Google form and just put them in. By the end, it was over 100 businesses locally let me put them up.
Nice.
So that's how we spread. It was very low expense, very work intense in the beginning, visiting all the businesses and asking. But after May, it was a lot of occasionally a group would ask to talk or something, and a few people who saw the petition said, hey, I would like to be more involved. And I would grab them and say, okay, we're talking.
Now, how many signatures did you obtain?
564.
564. All right. Now, I don't know whether you knew it when you launched it, but there was a similar effort.
Yes.
I think back to 2017, 2018, there was an effort to reverse the backyard hen ban that was put in place, I think, back in 1988. But it tried several years ago and it failed. A completely different group of council members at the time. Were you aware of that previous effort, and what did you guys do differently this time? I did not see anybody coming to council wearing a chicken head this time.
Did that happen last time?
Yes, it did.
Yes, a crocheted chicken hat last time.
Okay.
So I became aware probably around March of last year as I was doing my research about, I discovered that chickens were probably banned around 1988, but I couldn't find anything in the news why. So a according to Councilwoman Mounts, it was probably just a bunch of bills getting like swept in at once. But I just looked up online and saw the pictures and was a little horrified because that is not, I am a political science major, and after studying politics and everything, it kind of just made a joke out of the movement, and I think that was a big difference. So one of the things I did on the Facebook group was say, hey, if you're going to go to an event, if you're going to council, act like you're going to court. And by that I mean wear your best clothing.
Don't wear a chicken head.
Yeah, don't make, I guess there were clucking sounds too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That kind of kills the seriousness.
Yes. So it removed the seriousness. And then when you had like the realtors come in who were against at the time, come in business suits, who is the council going to take more seriously?
Yeah. Now, I know there are a lot of restrictions and limitations on the chicken operations in this ordinance. How did you and your group work with the city to draft this bill in a way that would be palatable with the most lawmakers?
So it started with the petition. We had our wish list, which was like 6 chickens enclosed. There were like 6 points, very broad. And then we started talking purposely to people that disagreed with us and tried to find out what would be acceptable to them. So, for example, one group we spoke to very early on wanted to microchip chickens.
Whoa.
Now, I have a pet dove, and I do know that microchipping is actually bad for birds. So immediately I shot that down because birds are weird with their health. However, we knew automatically, since I do have a dove, you can band them. So with the banding, you can put like identification numbers. So that was one thing that sparked from these conversations. So a lot of the stuff in the bill we have because we talk to people we disagree with and try to find a middle ground of something they would find at least mildly acceptable, if not ideal.
Now, when this first then hit City Council I think it was about a month ago, there was a parade of local residents at the last 2 meetings to endorse the bill during the public participation parts of the meetings. I assume this was a group effort. You guys figured out who was going to say what because everybody had their stuff written down and they were hitting different elements, things that they were pushing. And oh, by the way, I think it was a great idea to include children. I mean, who can argue with a child that wants a chicken? So talk a little bit or explain how you guys decided how that was going to come together over those 2 meetings.
So my daughter actually just wanted to speak, but she was scared. And her friend who lives in Belleville said, I had chickens and I'll talk with you. I'm like, okay, if that's acceptable to city council, it's acceptable to me.
I've been covering council a long time. I don't remember, or I can count on the fingers of one hand or maybe fingers of one finger, the number of times I've seen children address city council. Not that I was very impressed.
And my daughter, she's in theater, she's in dance, we just finished up the Nutcracker. So she is not an overly shy person, but she's like, I'm speaking to important people. I'm like, you are, but they're still just humans. So it's okay.
Right.
Just treat them like you would anyone else. Just be respectful. So there was some group effort. I would just put in the group, hey, ideally, I'd like 5 people speaking. And 5 people would say, or 4 people would say, I would, and then we'd have a random person show up. So that's how we kind of got the first group, and then we got really great coverage with the kids. So
never hurts to have kids. Because I take pictures of a lot of people speaking at public meetings, but I don't get to take pictures of kids very often. So
there's so many keyboard warriors out there that are adults, and it's just like refreshing to see the courage of a couple kids like this. Yes, this is how democracy works.
Yeah, people who sit in their parents' basement in their underwear eating Cheetos and pounding away on social media. I don't have a lot of respect for that. But people that go to a public meeting, especially children, the second meeting, there was like a whole family that came and spoke. Mom, dad, brother, sister, it was everybody.
Yeah, so I posted in the group, anytime there'd be news coverage, I would post it in the group. So it's this is the temperature of what's going on. Just kind of keeping everyone updated. I'm usually not chronically online, but for the past year, it feels like that's all I've done. It's exhausting.
I'm sorry.
Did you get any, were there any crazy takes that you had to kind of combat against or people trying to speak out?
So not at the meetings. The meetings were pretty tame.
Yeah.
Only two.
Online, of course.
Online. Like people wanted like the list of people with chickens to be public. I'm like, well, we don't have dogs public, and they are actually like, they can attack you.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, well, chickens are different, and like we're not having roosters, so like the roosters are generally if anything's going to attack, it's going to be a rooster. A hen might peck at you, but that's very minor compared to a dog grabbing and shaking its head.
Why'd they want the list of people public? Like it's
Because
Epstein files or something?
I don't know. I think they wanted to be able to check themselves if someone was legally keeping.
Oh, okay.
But if you know, I've discovered online people don't generally read the laws that they are complaining about.
No.
So that was
Not in this city.
as someone who cares about politics. My favorite book is Alexis de Tocqueville, Democracy in America.
Mine was Animal
classic.
Farm. So.
Okay. Which gave me a little bit maybe too optimistic of a view of the current people in
It was
America.
a long time ago.
That's why you've got to read Animal Farm. That will give you a realistic look at politics and people.
Fair enough. So, I mean, in some ways I was a bit optimist, but I tried to answer every single person online. I'm sure if you saw my name pop up all the time, that was me. And I spent way too much time online. But back to your question about city council. So, yeah, I did post on city council. I did not expect the turnout that we had the last meeting, and especially for no negative, for the amount of people complaining online. So, I mean, overall, it was better than I could have expected. And when the one family came with all their kids speaking,
Yes.
I was very shocked. I was not expecting for every single age. And then some people's like, oh, yeah, I pulled in my daughter last minute, and she said she wanted to speak with me. I'm like, okay, great.
Now, at that meeting, Second Ward Councilwoman Cheryl Meyer spoke and said she didn't have a problem with the folks who were there who were endorsing it. Her concern was, how will the city enforce this through its permits and development department, which has basically 3 full-time kind of inspectors, supervisors. And that's what I think the word she used was people who would be rogue with their chickens. Are you concerned at all about the city's ability to enforce this ordinance?
Well, let's face it, the people who want to be rogue are already doing it. We've already heard about the chickens on, I think, Middle Belleville. There's like a gray chicken that runs free.
That's my chicken. I live. All right, truth here. I don't live in the city. I live in Washington Township, and I have no. My wife said, "Well, can we have chickens?" I said, "A, I don't know, and B, no." So yeah.
Well, I have some people you can talk to if you're interested. But, sorry, I'm trying to.
Yeah, talk about enforcement. Yeah.
So enforcement. So we did work with the city. After we collected all the comments from people who disagreed with us and tried to form the bill based on their disagreements to make it as strong as possible, we then went to the city and said, hey, can we meet? So we met, I think the first week of September. And we went over the bill with a whole lot of people from City Hall, and we just kind of talked through it. And those concerns did come up, but at the end, it seemed like most people were satisfied. And that includes the codes department; they were there.
Right.
So it wasn't just like the mayor and I speaking; it was a whole group of people.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that I heard, maybe indirectly, is people's concerns about what a backyard chicken coop does to real estate values.
So
talk a little bit about your thoughts on chickens and real estate values.
So actually one of the people who kind of stepped up in the group and wanted to be more involved, her name is Mallory Hurst, and she's actually a realtor. So I asked her early on, hey, could you do some research, call around, see, and I also called around, seeing what different realtors, their experience with chicken coops. And she, when she talked on Tuesday, she even mentioned that she found a podcast about it, how it has been a positive. And I called even, upper, like Bexley, and they're like, yeah, sometimes they look forward to it because the neighbors can buy eggs from from the neighbors instead of the store. So overall, it has been positive for other cities. So we have no reason to believe, if it's been positive for them, why that can't apply to here as well.
There's not really evidence of legalizing chickens being like the downfall of a
well,
like
even
city
New
here.
York City allows chickens.
Right.
And you're allowed in your apartment to have
Oh.
them and to like let them out occasionally. Like,
If you're living on like the 30th floor of a high rise, like
Yeah.
Need
Just
eggs.
taking your
Don't wanna
chickens
go
down the
to
elevator.
grocery
Just
store,
don't
man.
just don't want to go out on the ledge. That's all.
I mean, but at
or
the end,
do.
yeah.
at the end of the day, one of the things we argued for when we were talking to city council is like, let's treat this like the dog warden treats adopting a dog.
Mm-hmm.
So we recently did adopt a dog, so I'm very familiar with this process. So you go, you fill everything out, you fill out where you live. If you have a landlord, you have to put their name and number, and they have to approve it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an approval process, and the city will be tracking eventually, it sounds like through their GIS system, and we talked in advance, how can this list be available for police? So it's not like it's just legal and we do whatever. There is actually safeguards in the back, which I believe during the meeting, Mayor Perry addressed.
And this ordinance does not allow somebody to just go out and buy a chicken or two and toss it in the backyard. There are a lot of requirements. First of all, you've got to pay a $100 registration fee before you can even start.
And that's to cover things like the inspection and eventually the cost of the GIS.
And then you've got to have an enclosed coop
Correct.
that has a sufficient amount of space.
And predator proofing.
Predator proof, and that'll keep Hayden out. You can only have up to 6 hens, no roosters. So yeah, this is not something that somebody can just say, okay, I'm going to go out and buy a chicken now that I can. You're going to have to invest time and effort.
Well, and I know that Councilwoman Robertson had some concerns about the really tiny plots.
Mm-hmm.
One of the requirements is it counts as an accessory, not dwelling, building. So if you can't have legally a shed in your backyard, you can't have a chicken coop.
Right.
So there are requirements where, while it's not directly outlined in this law, it refers to other laws.
Now, at the council meeting last week, I know there had been plans to have another reading and then a vote on December 16th. There was lots of discussion after public participation. Council members talked about it. I was sitting there with my notepad, saying, okay, that's a pro, that's a no, that's a pro, that's a no. And it suddenly dawned on me, they have 4 votes in favor. There was a council, Cynthia Daly from the 4th Ward was excused. She wasn't there. So you only had 7 members. And I'm sitting there thinking, they've got 4. If they wanted to vote for this tonight, they could. And about 5 minutes later, Deb Mount said, I propose that we do away with all further readings and put this to a vote tonight. And I said, oh, that's pretty smart, because I don't know how Cynthia Daly felt about it, but I knew she had 4 votes in favor.
And a tie goes to the head of.
But yeah, if it had gone 4-4, let's say that vote occurred at the 16th and Cynthia Daly was opposed, I don't know. And for all I know, Cynthia Daly was a huge proponent. I don't know. But if it was 4-4, then it goes to Council President Phil Scott to break the tie. And I don't know how Phil Scott feels about it either. But when they had 7, I knew they had 4. So Deb Mount says that. Were you surprised? Because it was a very quick vote, 4-3 in favor. David Falquette, who's an at-large councilman, voted against it. Sherry Robertson, who's at-large, voted against it. I think her concern was enforcement, being a retired police captain. And the other person voting against it was Cheryl Meyer. In favor, you had Aurelio Diaz, you had Laura Burns, obviously you had Deb Mount, and who am I missing?
Revel.
Yes, Reverend Alacucci, who I think became a fan or a proponent during that meeting.
Yes.
Because he heard those kids.
Yes.
Because he missed the first meeting with the kids. He wasn't there. But he was at this meeting. He heard the kids. And suddenly...
Let the children have their chickens.
Yeah. Reverend L.
I love it.
Reverend L became the 4th vote, and you were good.
So
Great job.
I was surprised that it went that night. I wasn't surprised based on previous conversations that other people had with Reverend Al, he wasn't 100%, but he also had warm memories. He discussed his warm memories as a child. And same with Councilwoman Daly. She, talking to, I actually went to high school with both of their children. She has very fond memories of chickens when she lived in Jamaica. So she was warmed up to it, but she was worried about the enforcement. So even I was convinced, at least we'll never know now, that even if we went through the next meeting, we could probably convince her that it would be good, because we did work with the city and we've discussed enforcements. And even when the naysayers were talking about it, the mayor even spoke and said, hey, these are the protections in it. These are the plans, because some of the things the council people were saying, it's like they weren't at the meetings. It was only the only two people who helped with the creation of the bill at the meetings. I had Councilwoman Mounts and Councilwoman Burns. Mm-hmm. So they were the only two there. So in all fairness, they didn't hear all the background talk.
Right.
And honestly, we're still not done. One of the parts of working with city, we agreed to help form a packet for educational. So when someone registers, they will get a packet of information if they decide they don't want chickens. I actually found someone in Marion where you can rent a coop. So they'd still have to go through the registration period, and they can rent a coop and chickens, decide if they actually want to, so that when they're done, if they kind of were on the edge and didn't know if they wanted it or not, they can just return them.
Well, see, I had somebody ask me something similar to that, and they said, well, what if I get some chickens and I realize I don't like doing this? I said, well, there's 6 Sunday dinners.
So we actually have a list of, right now, the list as of Tuesday of last week had 10 people who are willing to take chickens that are on one end. I've had probably 4 more people contact me since the meeting. I kind of took a break after the meeting looking at anything, and kind of stepped away from Facebook as much as possible.
Why? It was only a 3-hour and 20-minute meeting. Why would you feel the need to step back?
And, a year of trying to get something to happen. So I kind of gave myself a week to kind of detox and not look, but I've had people texting me, hey, don't forget to add this person. It's I'm just taking a break because I'm going to have to jump in and start making this packet in a couple weeks.
Yeah, the people that, like you said, the people that are going to go rogue are going to go rogue. It feels to me like the biggest point is if you're going to invest in that and a coop and the fee and you're going to enclose your chickens and you don't want them to escape or get killed by a predator or there's no incentive for that. And so what was kind of the biggest point where you think it was people kind of came to their senses and let it go through? Because it seems like a lot of the naysayers and the backlash against it was based somewhat in just kind of fear tactics, or maybe just some things that weren't true.
My philosophy is always give the other people the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
Because there are people who are smarter than me who have better arguments. So I always want to hear them out because I am not the smartest person in the room, and I know that. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because they have experiences that I don't. So could there have been some fear mongering? Yes. I know that generally they weren't a fan of chickens, and that's fine. No law is generally going to make every single person happy, right, whether that's the city or the council. But at the beginning, they were all saying it was a well-crafted law. So in some way, I still got their endorsement.
Was there any argument for just self-reliance of that angle? Just hey, we want to
There was a lot for self-reliance, and that's been a huge movement throughout the United States. On our Facebook public page, I posted plenty of articles where, particularly millennials, that's what we all want: a homestead, grow our own food, have some solar panels, everything. So that was a big part of the argument. But another big part was children. There were some silly arguments that it's it will upset my dog. I have a dog. It doesn't take much to upset them.
Yeah. No.
But as a dog owner, I am responsible for checking my dog. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
checking my dog and being hey, we don't need to bark at every squirrel in the neighborhood. Yeah. Redirect you, put you in your crate if you need a moment to calm down.
My cat upsets my dog too.
Yeah.
We have to do that with Hayden.
I'm just catching
when,
strays.
when he gets upset in here, we have to put him in his crate till he calms down.
You know, we all need our quiet times. This is a good room if you need to just like scream out your emotions.
It is.
We do that. We do floor time here too.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, well, I have been quiet, but I was going to say, I mean, to summarize too, I think, not that I'm a bill analyzer here, but I think what to me stuck out as successful was, this is going to blow a lot of people's minds probably, is the fact that you talked to people who didn't agree with you, and you worked to try and find common ground, and you came to a meeting and spoke. And I know Carl's already touched on the keyboard warriors, so. Yeah. You know, I think this has been a story that shows that you really can make something happen if you're willing to work with people who disagree with you and speak in front of people who can actually enact change.
Well, and I think that's the most irritating things about the current state of politics is we just label they're the enemy and I should do everything to crush them. It's like, you know, they are people and they may have good points too, even if I don't agree with them. And I don't always expect to agree with people. I don't know. My children often don't agree with my parenting. But
that never changes. By the way. My kids are in their 30s and they still disagree with my parenting.
So, you know, you have to just give people the benefit of the doubt because honestly, the people who disagreed, I have no doubt that they also care about Mansfield to some degree, even though some of them say really terrible things in the middle.
Yeah.
And they want Mansfield to be a lovely place. But looking through the scope of chickens, if we look at any other city that has chickens, none of them are overrun with chickens. It's a very small. Yeah, it's a very small population that wants them because especially passing it in the winter, how many people want to go and make sure the water's not frozen when it's negative 10 degrees out?
Yeah, homesteading is not for just like that, and we're farming, and these things are not just casual, like, okay, I'm going to get chickens and keep them in my front yard.
Okay,
yeah.
Now this law takes effect April 1st of 2026. So how soon will you have backyard chickens, Kelsey?
So I am a long-term planner. We're kind of waiting for my son's Cincinnati appointments to calm down, whether or not that's today we have an appointment or, you know, a year from now, but within the next 5 years.
Okay.
We're not in a rush, but I did know that if we were planning on getting them, the law needed to be changed eventually. So who knows how much free time I'll have in 3 years.
Very good. Folks, we are going to wrap up today's show on that note. Many thanks to Kelsey Cunning for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Next week, folks, will be the final Newsman Weekly podcast of 2025. The old grumpy newsman's going to take some time off at the end of the year.
Thank God.
Yep. Now, we're not going to have any outside guests in the studio with us next week. Instead, it'll be a special holiday edition of the show because you know how much I love the holidays. We will look back at all the dumb things we did this year, and God knows that's a lot. We'll take a look forward at the expected foolishness that we'll commit in 2026. But for now, thanks again to all of you for listening to the Newsman Weekly. I'll be back in a second to put a bow on this week's show. But until then, remember what author Mark Twain once said. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything.